Welcome to the latest installment of Brand of Brothers. I'm Doug.
And I'm Johnny. Today we're going to have some fun with marketing funnels.
All right, let's get to it.
Fun with funnels. Marketing funnels. Tell me what a marketing funnel is, Doug.
Oh my, you're putting me on the spot, aren't you?
Yes.
So when it comes to marketing funnels, you have the top of the funnel, and these are people
TOFU.
that is, we don't have to do that.
Okay.
I don't like those. So anyhow, yes, the top of the funnel, or TOFU, for those in the know, is where you're pouring your leads into, right? So who are your leads? Your leads are anybody and everybody that matches your ideal customer profile, or ICP.
Insane Clown Posse?
Yes, Insane Clown Posse, your ICP. And so that is where your awareness campaign begins.
Let me pause you right there. You mentioned ICP.
Yes.
What can we dive into that? What does that mean?
What is ideal? ICP, your ideal customer profile. That is everything from geography and demographics, right? So how old are they? What gender are they? Down to psychographics. So what kinds of things are they into? And you're going to find that you have audiences that have overlaps between what their philosophies are and what their consumer habits are, along with where they are from a generational point of view.
Okay. So sorry to divert you there, but to go back to the top of funnel, the TOFU, you use your ICP, which presumably you've derived from your marketing
Messaging brandscape. Yeah, your messaging brandscape will absolutely identify your audiences.
And so then I guess you figure out messaging to attract this audience.
So,
but are these people that are looking for you?
Not necessarily. They don't necessarily know that they're looking for you. So
do they know that they have a need?
Not necessarily, again, right? So let's say that you make jackets and someone doesn't realize that they need a jacket, but then you start marketing to them that you have this jacket that has some special features, right? Maybe it has
a lot of pockets.
Maybe it also has the capability of keeping you warm, right?
Pockets,
so it's wearable, right? So when I say wearable, I mean like the wearable tech that you push a button and it heats up.
Oh.
So yeah, you could start marketing this product that people are unaware of, or feel like, oh wait, you know what? That's an upgrade from the jacket that I currently have. So these are individuals that you would target because they buy jackets, they wear jackets. So now you have a jacket that you want to get in front of them.
What methods do you use to get the top of funnel messaging out there that you have jackets?
So what types of campaigns, I believe, is what you're asking.
Yeah.
So at the top of funnel, those are this is your awareness generation campaign. So that could be display ads that you put on social media. That could be a billboard, a literal billboard that you put on the side of the highway. And then there are some a little bit more questionable routes where you begin doing what I refer to as spamming people.
Like cold email.
Yeah, a cold email campaign would be
or postcard mailings.
Yeah, postcard. So postcard mailings become a little bit tricky in that awareness campaign component, because really postcard campaigns at that point, it depends on what you're doing, right? So if you're just doing a vast mailer and you're using USPS's Every Door Direct, for those that are listening, United States Postal Service has a particular postcard service. It's not even limited to postcards, but basically it'll send it to neighborhood codes. And so
So you
you could
just say blindly send it to everybody
exactly.
without any filter.
So that would be an awareness campaign. And of course, when you're doing postcards, really anything and everything, your goal is for it to transcend into a conversion campaign. So you can actually do targeted direct marketing or direct mailers that are set as conversion campaigns. At that point, you're almost in the middle of the funnel because you've already identified your audience and you've worked with them previously. Like you've touched them. When I say touched them, that means that they've seen your ads or gotten involved with your brand, but have not become a customer.
So we've already moved to a middle of funnel. Now these.
Yeah, you did that when you mentioned postcards.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But so do you wait? Does somebody have to interact with your marketing to get to the middle? How do you transition from that top of funnel to a middle of funnel type of campaign?
So there are a couple of schools of thoughts here, but the school of thought that I subscribe to is that in order to become a middle of funnel individual, or as some might say, MOFU, that they, in my opinion, they need to have engaged with your brand, but not necessarily, well, definitely not have purchased something from you, whether that's a product or a service.
But you change your messaging when you're targeting this audience.
Yeah, because they already have a certain level of brand awareness, but they don't necessarily have enough information that warrants them to become a customer.
So at top of funnel, you're sort of educating about what you do. You're just sort of giving you're like, hi, I'm a realtor.
Sure.
But you're not necessarily talking about, well, I deal with these specific types of properties or.
I would say that you can get that granular, right? Because you're wanting to pre-qualify your audiences. You have that ICP, that Insane Clown Posse. And so you want to make sure that those particular individuals are targeted and simultaneously filtering out the riffraff, right? So you don't want to be, if you're selling a jacket, you don't want to be selling an adult sized jacket to a 10-year-old, right? So you don't want your commercials in front of them. And there are ways of making sure that that doesn't happen.
So you don't want to be buying. Oh, so
It's wasted airtime, right?
right. So you just brought up, so you're talking, sort of commercials and like streaming type ads.
That's certainly an option, right?
Okay.
So streaming ads we refer to as OTT, or over the top.
Okay.
And so OTT might happen on Apple TV, Roku, YouTube. It even happens on cable stations, so it doesn't need to be a special box. It can be a normal set-top box. But yes, generally speaking, that is part of an awareness campaign.
And do you guys do that?
Does Remix do that?
Yeah.
So that's where it gets a little bit complicated. The short answer is yes. But the long answer is we partner with production companies. We do the pre-production and the post-production, and we are on set for actual production, but we never hit the record button.
But what about the distribution? Like, do you make deals with Hulu?
So, well, no one makes direct deals with Hulu. So what you do is you use a resource. There are a number of these resources out there. Ordinarily, you would work with a third party that is part of the subscriber networks. There are DIY models. There are different services out there. One in particular, it requires a minimum monthly spend of like $1,000, maybe more dollars per month. And you can go in and you can choose which stations you appear on, and you can also target your audiences.
So now we're in the middle of funnel. we change our messaging slightly. We assume that they know who we are, what we sell.
Yeah.
How are these people on your mailing list? Like what?
It could be any number of things, right? So if they came to a landing page and they completed a form, and in order to download a white paper or to get a coupon, all of a sudden they are middle of funnel. So they're going to start receiving emails. If they allowed us to do SMS messaging, we'll send text messages to them. And of course, we'll begin connecting the dots, right? So if we have their name and we have their email, chances are good we can get their address. So we'll start sending them targeted postcards and letters in the hopes of converting them into a customer.
And so let me guess, top of funnel, middle of funnel. You have a BOFU?
We do have a bottom of funnel. And so that bottom of funnel, these are your people who are either ripe for the picking or have already converted. And so you're reselling to them, right? So you've already purchased this one jacket. Guess what? We have a new one that not only does it keep you warm, you can also keep your phone charged, right? And so all of a sudden we have this really cool jacket that you're going to be interested in because, and how do we know that? Because you already bought our previous jacket.
Is this where you would market referrals or try to get them to make a
100%.
review?
100%. All of the above, right? So your goal, of course, is to turn your customers into advocates and evangelists. And because when I buy something that I think is fantastic and I see that, for example, you're cold, I'll be like, hey, check out this jacket I got. It's pretty snazzy, isn't it? And all of a sudden you're buying that jacket and both of us are hanging out in the bottom of the funnel with that company.
So we could, but I'm going to make you go a little further because I want to understand. This, I would imagine, because I've been around the block a little bit, that this cycles into something else because that's not the end of your customer relationship. I imagine that there's, more.
Yeah, we call it a nurturing campaign.
Nurturing. Okay, that's what I was looking for.
At this point, I mean, are you still in the funnel? So the short answer is yes, because you're always
in the funnel.
Yes, you're always trying to make sure that people are aware of your existence, and since they've already interacted with you, they already know what they're getting, and since they know what they're getting, then it just makes sense to them to be able to use someone who's reliable.
There's a term, it's like some kind of like reinforcing like making you feel good about your purchase, that giving you that sort of you're in sort of feeling.
And yeah, to that end, right? Like after you've purchased things, I'm sure you've experienced this and you're like, curses, but they send you a 20% off coupon for your next purchase, or they go one step further and go, hey, if you give this to a friend, we're going to give you both $50, right? And so that's all part of that continuity.
So top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel.
Right. Top of funnel, awareness, middle of funnel, engagement, bottom of funnel, conversion.
Sounds great. Well, I think that's a good place to stop and convert some audience members. Make sure you subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to Brand of Brothers. Big thank you to our presenting sponsor, Remix, the branding agency, along with production assistance from Johnny Diggz, Simon Jacobson, and me, Doug Berger. We can't forget music by PRO. Speaking of not forgetting, remember to do that like and subscribe thing and find us at brandshowlive.com and follow us on the socials at Brand Show Live.